Enough already. Create Success on Your Own Terms by Mike Iamele. Narrated by Stephen Thorne. To my Bubby for teaching me how to dance. To AJ for teaching me how to laugh. To my family for teaching me how to support one another. And to Garrett for teaching me how to love. I am forever grateful for a journey filled with dancing, laughter, support, and love. To me, that is success. Everyone has a story, an introduction of sorts. When I was 22, I thought I was really successful. I can even pinpoint this feeling to a specific night. It was the Boston premiere of The Social Network, and I had tickets. I was weeks away from finishing my last semester of college. I had just endured a long day of classes in the morning and 8 hours of work in the afternoon. Not a college job, not an internship, real work. I had helped to start a PR agency only a few months before, and in just a few weeks, I'd be graduating to take on my rightful spot as part owner. I was an expert on healthcare technology and healthcare reform. My resume had been sent to the White House twice. I worked with big-name national reporters. I had more than enough money and friends, plenty of friends. There I was, waiting for the premiere of a movie to start. I was successful. I was important. I mattered. But as the movie started to roll, playing out the story of Facebook's impressive founding, I couldn't help but think that maybe my life was more filled with carefully crafted credentials and glossy photos than anything else. And, looking at my friends to my left and right, I started to suspect that I wasn't the only one. Beginnings are awkward. I never know where to start. Whenever I have no clue how to begin something, I try to think about whatever I'm doing like a little kid would. Have you spent much time around children? They approach everything with a little naivete, a heavy dose of curiosity, and maybe a splash of wonder, and the annoyingly persistent question, why? Us adults, we gave up on our questioning years ago. Things just are. We accept them and move on. We don't have time to sit around and philosophize. We're off working long hours and paying the bills and doing chores and just trying to survive everyday life. But now we're in a predicament because I already said that I'm approaching this just like a kid would, and you're reading a book about success, so I'm going to guess that you care about being successful, at least a little bit. So I've got to ask, why? Why do you want to be successful? I've asked this question more times than I can remember. In fact, I ask this question when I first meet with any client, and every single time I get the exact same response. A blank stare. That's not entirely true. Once, someone asked how I made it this far in my business asking stupid questions like that. But I don't think it's a totally unfair question. I mean, success is the end goal for the vast majority of people. It comes up in casual conversation every day. And let's face it, Facebook has become little more than a gauge on how successful people have become since high school. Our heroes have changed from actors and athletes to Mark Zuckerberg and Sean Parker. Our culture values the ideal of achieving astronomical success at a young age over almost anything else. We're a culture obsessed with success. All I'm asking is why? Okay, I'll go first. If I'm being honest, I wanted to be successful for all the reasons you're not supposed to want it. Because it'd make me matter. It'd make me important. The cars, the chicks, the whole bit. I was sold a fairy tale of success, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I grew up believing that I'd work my little butt off, put in my time, pay my dues, and be rewarded with the pot at the end of the rainbow. I'd have money, fame, and power. My name would mean something. I wanted to cover myself with fancy parties, impressive job titles, and large salaries because I was afraid that if people peeled back the layers, they wouldn't like what they found. Underneath, I wasn't enough. Not rich enough, or smart enough, or charming enough, or experienced enough, or old enough, or good enough. I was convinced that once I made it there, things would be different. People would look at me differently, treat me differently. Hell, I'd treat me differently. I wouldn't let people walk all over me anymore. I wouldn't waste time on things that didn't make me happy. I'd have honest relationships. I'd have time for myself. Success would get me everything I wanted. Turns out, I was confusing success with self-esteem. And if I didn't have it from the get-go, no arbitrary milestone of success was going to bring self-esteem along. This book in your hands lays out the journey I took to success, how I gave up looking for external validation and started building internal worth, how I rejected society's definition and started defining success as what would make me happy, how I recovered from a serious illness and stopped burning myself out, and, most of all, how I started helping people across the world create success on their own terms. This book is set up like a journey, a hero's journey, to be exact. It's split into 12 chapters, or stages, of the journey. Each chapter begins with a short story from my own life, followed by an in-depth discussion of the topic at hand, and finally ends with a few challenges to help you incorporate that step into your life. But I need your help. This book is incomplete without you. I can only give you the framework. You've got to fill in the picture. If you choose to complete the challenges and follow the steps in order, you'll have created a personalized guidebook for your own path to success. Not for the life somebody else envisioned for you, but for the life you've always secretly wanted. When I first started writing this book, I thought I'd just be sharing some wisdom from my journey. I thought that I'd be plotting out the map, pointing out the sights, sharing the tour guide's insider scoop. But somewhere in the process of writing it, I was forced to take a hard look at myself. I was forced to answer the tough questions. Am I actually successful? What does that mean to me? Am I completely happy? Where could my life be better? And I found myself, the expert, the writer, the guide, smack dab in the middle of yet another success journey. Doe-eyed and ambitious, I entered each step with more guts and glory than the one before. And I was spit out the other end of this book with the realization that I can be more successful than I ever knew was possible. Take it from the guy who's written the book on success. We're always cycling through deeper and deeper levels of success, no matter where you are in your journey or how many times you've circled it. I hope this book can work its magic on you, just like it has on me. But before we go on, I have a rule, just one rule, for anyone reading this book. It's my number one rule in my practice, and I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't lay down the law here. We don't measure magnitude. We measure direction. It doesn't really matter if you can leap or skip. It doesn't matter if you tiptoe or crawl. All that matters is that you move in the direction of your goals. This isn't another self-help book to lay untouched on your bookshelf. This isn't just another inspirational story. If you want to reach success, real success, you can't read and think about it all day. You have to move. You have to take the challenges and do something with them. It doesn't matter if you do every challenge or just one per chapter, just that you do something. Because if you take one tiny step every day toward your goals, at the end of the year, you'll be 365 times closer to accomplishing your dreams. Beginnings are awkward because they require trust. They require you to let go of your fears and anxieties and cynicism and insecurities. They require you to blindly take a step forward and watch the path develop as you go. They require you to start before you're ready. So enough already. It's time to start. Chapter 1. You can't get started if you don't know where you're going. I'd always assumed I'd be successful. Not in an arrogant way, not even in a hopeful way. It just kind of made sense, like how I assumed I'd graduate high school. I did everything right. I got the right grades. I got into the right schools. I joined the right clubs, got the right internships, networked with the right people, climbed the right ladders. To the outside world, I'd made it by my mid-20s. I had a job I loved that paid me a lot of money.